one of Queensland's most experienced property managers and the chair of the REIQ Property Management Committee, Clint Dowdell-Smith, is joining me now to discuss all things property management related. Hi Clint, thanks for joining us.
No, my pleasure.
So let's get started with the role of a property manager. What does the property manager bring?
Right, a property manager is essentially a person who's been appointed by the lessor or the investor to handle the day-to-day operations of their rental property. So that's the tasks such as rent collection, marketing and finding new tenants, maintaining the property, ensuring the maintenance is handled. And one of the bigger jobs is ensuring that the property is legally compliant for the lesser client.
Yeah, and tell us about that relationship between the tenant and the lessor. We want it to function well and for it to be healthy. What are some of the tips you have in relation to that? And how can a property manager help to perhaps improve that relationship?
Yeah. I guess like everything in life, open communication and understanding of processes, understanding the rights and the responsibilities of both parties. And the way that a property manager can help with that is sometimes take out the emotion from an investor client has a financial responsibility or a financial issue with the property. It can be quite emotional for that lessor client. And having them talk directly to each other, it can get a little escalated. So a property manager is great as that third party mediator to sort of try and take that emotion out and take it back to the legalities of those particular issues for the property and then provide guidance on how to resolve.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that it can be really challenging. And I think the property manager can take that more objective role when there is emotion involved.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue then to the inevitable question. Whilst we know most tenancy relationships do work well, we do know that sometimes disputes can arise.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips for how to perhaps avoid disputes arising, and then once they do arise, how they can be easily managed?
Again, it comes back to that communication again, and understanding what the issue is and reflecting that back to the obligations of either party, but then providing a clear guideline on how that should operate or be resolved. However, people are people. And inevitably we can't get to that sort of resolve immediately. So there are pathways through the RTA and QCAT to get there, and a property manager will be able to guide the lessor through that process. So dispute resolution with a mediator from the RTA is first step after that. And then if that's not able to be resolved, then unfortunately some of these incidents do end up in QCAT where an adjudicator will actually make the decision.
Yeah, but prevention is always better than cure, I
Absolutely.
think. We can all agree.
Yep.
So you're right, communication is absolutely of key importance. And I want to move now onto the tenancy application process.
Sure. Yep.
Sometimes we get feedback that when you're applying for a rental property, there's an enormous amount of information that gets asked for. Perhaps tell us a little bit about why property managers ask for so much.
Yeah, essentially at the end of the day, the tenancy is a legally binding agreement. It is a contract between the lessor and the tenant for that service to be provided to the tenant. So signing a legal document, we do need to take measures to identify the person correctly and hold those on file should there be any issues. Also, we have an obligation to the lessor client as a property manager to ensure that the tenancy is going to be successful. And part of that is assessing the financial viability of that particular tenancy. So we do need to ask questions about their ability a tenant's ability to pay the rent and keep up with their responsibilities in that respect.
Yeah, I think that's important to understand, that a property manager has to do that due diligence, not just for the benefit of the owner, but also for the benefit of the tenant.
Absolutely.
To ensure that they can maintain that tenancy. And of course, we've just seen the government talking about introducing a new uniform application process. We'll have to stay tuned.
Yes, yes, that'll be interesting.
Yes. And just finally, we are in very, very tight rental conditions at at the moment, very, very low vacancy rates, and we all know that it's extremely difficult to find a rental property. So can you give us some tips for anyone out there who's looking for a new rental property about how they can best secure a new home?
Sure. I guess the biggest thing is be prepared. We just ran through those type of documents or why we need that information, but be prepared for the application, inspecting the property to make sure that it's actually meeting your needs. I know that there's a lot of desperation out there sometimes in this market just to secure a property, but making sure that the property is something that is going to be working for you, your family, or what you're needing. But essentially it is making sure you have all those documents available and providing all that information that we do actually need, because that speeds up the process for us to ascertain all those checks that we need to do to try and approve you as soon as possible.
That's great advice and some really good information in there. So thanks for joining us so much on Prop IQ, Clint.
Thanks, Antonia. My pleasure.
Hi, I'm Antonia Mercorella, CEO of the Real Estate Institute of Queensland. Thanks so much for watching this video, which is a segment from Prop IQ, a show produced by the REIQ to help provide insights into real estate for both people in the industry and consumers. I'd love it if you could subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click the notification bell. That way you'll get notified whenever we post a new video. Speaking of new videos, you might want to check out this one next.